Hi everyone. So today I wanted to do another wild ish prediction. So previously I had done, I mean, as in like unrealistic scenarios. But previously I had done, what if Amber Heard somehow became the nominee for the Democrats in 2024? So I did Trump versus Heard, and obviously it was a Trump landslide. So now I thought, in there the scales weren't really balanced. So instead, why don't I do Amber Heard running as a Democrat versus Vladimir Putin running as a Republican? Now, obviously, I know Putin isn't a natural born citizen, so he can't actually even run for president in the U.S. Um, but but yeah, I just thought, what if? Because they're both among the 10 most hated people in the U.S. right now. And I think the report said that actually Amber Heard was hated slightly more than Vladimir Putin. Um, take from that whatever you wish, but yeah. So I just wanted to hypothetically see what could happen if it was Heard as a Democrat versus Putin running as a Republican. So as usual, I have to clarify that my margins. I use safe is above 10%, likely is above 5, lean is above 1. Lean is from 1 to 5, likely is from 5 to 10. Tilt is from 0 to 1. So, yeah, let's get started. So, right off the bat, believe it or not, Putin actually has, populist appeal, despite being from a conservative, the United Russia, Yedina Rossiya party. Um, so, so I think he'd actually do fairly well in the Rust Belt. I mean, probably turnout would be so low for both candidates, but I think Putin would edge out, Amber Heard. I mean, another thing is Amber Heard, like nobody really takes her seriously. I mean, she's not really even that political. Whereas Putin is like a real politician. So people, so yeah, right off the bat, I'm saying things. I just don't think it would bode well for Heard. So right off the bat, Wisconsin safe, Pennsylvania likely, Michigan lean, Minnesota tilt. So yeah, yeah, I don't honestly. It could probably even be more than these. I mean, they might not even be that far off. I mean, in all honesty, I think Michigan would be, and Minnesota would be lean, and then Wisconsin and Pennsylvania would be safe, and Iowa and Ohio, of course, as well. Um, and probably Indiana, just because Putin's very socially conservative. He's very anti-gay, and they love that in Indiana and other very nationalist states, national populist states: Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, West Virginia. That's all the national populist states right there. Um, Now what else? Where and probably he probably win in a lot of generic conservative states too. Like Mississippi. I feel like all the rest of the safe Republican states could he definitely win each of them. Utah, Alaska probably would be safe. I mean, he's right next. I mean, he's right next. Russia's right next to them, but I mean, well, Alaska was only like a 9%. It was only a likely margin for Trump, but probably with how not seriously Amber it would be taken, I think it would go safe. Yeah. So, oh yeah, and even Texas. I mean, I don't think there's a ton of woke people down there, so Texas would probably be safe. I mean, um, and where else would South Carolina, of course. What about Florida? Florida. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, having a background as being part of the KGB might not help him there. Um, Arizona, Arizona might not be. Let's say Arizona. I'd probably put it as a likely margin, probably just barely under 10%, or somewhere in that range. But it's also gotten a lot more Democratic, and 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 Hurd is from California, so yeah, another thing. Safe dem. So what about the states that are probably going to go for Amber Heard? So right off the bat, I would actually say New Hampshire, or it would probably be Tilt, New Hampshire Tilt, just because Vladimir Putin is so socially conservative. Socially conservative candidates usually don't do well in New Hampshire because they're both economically and they're economically conservative and socially liberal. That's the reason why the Democrats have been doing so well, because they're socially liberal. Only a candidate who moderates somewhat, like George Bush, he was able to win. He can win the state. So like Glenn Youngkin, he's not that. I mean, I talked about Youngkin's electability is way overrated, but like on a national level. But he might be able to win New Hampshire. That's something that I'm not even sure if I don't think DeSantis or Trump could do that, but I think Youngkin would be able to do it, because Youngkin isn't as he's more moderate on social issues than DeSantis or Trump. And I think yeah, they wouldn't take Amber Heard that seriously, but I think given how socially conservative Putin is, I think Amber Heard would narrowly edge him out there, edge out in the state. And where else? Maine. Oh, Maine's second district safe for Putin. Maine's first district. I mean, there are quite a lot of woke people in the first district. I think though. I mean, I don't know. It might go down to likely, but let's put it as safe, because I don't think they would like Putin either. I don't think people would hate Putin because he's not even American, though. That's the thing. So the Maine at large would probably just stay around a lean margin. So then probably. I mean, probably California. She's from there. I mean, it might narrow up a little bit, but I still see it being safe. Washington, I guess they have no reason to vote for like a Putin type person, but Oregon probably could get down to likely, or just barely safe. Where else? Illinois probably narrow up a bit, but I mean, well, who knows? The turnout would be so low, I think. So I'll still put these places as safe. I mean, because I think people wouldn't turn out for Putin either. Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Vermont, Connecticut. Well, these states have shown a capacity to narrow up. They aren't that close. But but honestly, like Amber Heard might even turn off progressives. I mean, she's not, with her narcissism also too. It's just like, I mean, that's not a good recipe just for like people who are extremely economically left. And then like there's a lot of progressives in California too, so for the same reason. Then Hawaii could also narrow up. Progressives wouldn't be turned on there. Colorado could probably even get closer. Go down to like a lean margin. Virginia, this is the place where the trial happened. So this hits close to home. They really would not like Amber Heard there, but they also don't like Putin either. So I think, it's really really hard to say, but I think it would just go down. It might even go down to a lean margin. It might get closer. Yes, maybe North Carolina is probably it would even be safer in this scenario. I mean, or I'll put it as likely. Maybe not. Florida, it could narrow up just because of the whole, she might be able to accuse Putin of being a communist and he's a Russian, so it could narrow up a bit. It could be pretty close, surprisingly. Georgia, Georgia's got a lot of film people, so film people are woke as fuck. So I think ironically, she might be a good candidate for the state of Georgia. So we'll put it as lean. Atlanta's a big film town. New Mexico, on the other hand, I don't think Amber Heard would do well with Hispanics, but I don't know if Putin would either. I don't know. I'd say it gets down to a lean margin, or maybe even a tilt margin. New Mexico. Hispanic. No. I don't see Amber Heard just having any. Putin would have some appeal because of how socially conservative he is. Minorities, especially Hispanics, they turn out to be very socially conservative. So I actually think Putin would flip New Mexico, tilt Republican, and Nevada. Therefore, the state's trending heavy red. So I actually think Nevada would go likely to. It'd probably vote to the right of Arizona. So, what's the last state that? DC. DC still safe for Heard. Vermont might even go likely because progressives would be turned off. Maybe even New York. Well, New York. No. New York's got a lot of film people. Stay safe. And it doesn't have a ton of progressives. And Nebraska's 2nd district, I think that it would narrowly side with. Who knows? It would probably narrowly side with Putin just because of how bad Amber Heard. Amber Heard's slightly more hated than Putin. Maybe I could even do it like a tilt, but I probably say lean, just so we get a roughly even margin. So yeah, this is my prediction for Amber Heard versus Vladimir Putin. Yeah, so I think Putin would become. The president would become him. Got it right? In Soviet Russia, the president becomes you. All right, so yeah, thanks you all for watching, and I'll have a new RuneScape video, a lore reenactment released soon. Maybe even this weekend. I have to just figure out when to actually do a showing. And yeah, thank you for watching. And happy Halloween. Well, it's not Halloween yet, but it's October. It's my favorite month. Not my favorite month, but my favorite holiday. I definitely prefer summer a lot more. I'm really bummed that summer's over and the warm temperatures no more. It's really it's really the part I hate most about living in Chicago. It's just the weather's. I want to go to a place where it's warm year round. But okay, enough about me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.